My last book, Everyone Has What It Takes, A Writer's Guide to the End of Self-Doubt, was originally a memoir called No One Is Broken, which was based on my relationship with my son, Jack, who was diagnosed on the autism spectrum. It came about because I learned I couldn't be the kind of father I wanted to be for him if I saw him as broken, if I was just trying to fix him. But the only way I wouldn't try to fix him is if I didn't see him as broken, because that's what you do with broken things. You fix them. And the only way I couldn't see him as broken is if no one was, including me. So the concept, no one is broken. No one is broken. And the book was about, at least the original version, about how I learned to see a world without broken people and what that practice meant. This eventually led me to write about writers, because a broken writer is a writer who doesn't have what it takes, who's not talented enough or creative enough or intelligent enough. And if you believe such people exist, that there are those who have it and those who don't, you're going to want to know which you are. And when you sit down to write, instead of asking yourself the question, what's the story I want to tell and how best could I tell it, you'll just ask, do I have what it takes? Can I prove it this time? Can I prove that I have what it takes this time? Everyone has what it takes. That answers it. This brings me to the challenge of procrastination and finding time to write. For a lot of people, adults, busy people with full-time jobs, children, maybe aging parents, their life can seem too busy to write. They love to write. They would love to be able to write every day, but they've just got so much going on and they don't feel like they have the time. And that's what they will say. I don't have the time to write. I am too busy. Now, this is an excuse, but I say that as gently as possible. If you are saying, I am too busy to write, you are in that moment describing what you believe to be reality. You don't see yourself as making an excuse. You're just explaining the way reality is. The truth is, every writer who starts their career is busy. I've never met one that wasn't busy. I mean, lawyer busy, doctor busy, 3, 4, 5 kids busy. But they did it anyway. But I don't mean that to criticize you if you're feeling like you're too busy to write. All that happens when we make an excuse like that is we describe reality. We describe a reality we don't want to live in. For instance, I didn't want my son to be broken. Of course, I wouldn't want anybody to be broken. But if I believe broken people exist, I might apply that to him. And by calling him broken, I'm describing to myself a reality I don't want. So too, if you say, I'm too busy to write, that's not the reality you want. If you say you're too busy, you would also love to have a time. I'm sure you've thought, I would love it if my days were free enough, if my schedule were free enough, that one day, one time, I would have that extra hour, that extra half hour, 2 hours to write as often as I would like. But I don't live there now. I'm too busy. So what I'm suggesting to you, what I learned from seeing a world without practicing seeing a world without broken people, and practicing seeing a world where everyone has what it takes, is take that off the table, that excuse off the table. Seeing a world with broken people obstructs learning. You don't try to learn about someone if they're broken, you just try to fix them. But if you don't think they're broken, now you have to learn about them. You won't find the time until you believe it exists. And to believe it exists is a different reality than the reality you're describing when you say you're too busy. You're saying this is reality. What if it's not? It's not the reality you want. And you have a right to question reality if it's not what you want. Maybe it's not reality. Maybe there is time. But you'll never see that reality if you keep telling yourself there isn't. So just take too busy off the shelf. Take it out of your quiver of reasons for not writing. You may still feel too busy, but don't keep describing it that way. And by and if you give yourself the opportunity, if you don't keep describing reality as being one that's too busy, you may look up and the reality you want, the world you want, the one where you have that extra half an hour, where you have that hour to do the thing you love to do, you may look up and discover has always existed and that you live in it. Yeah. Thanks for watching. As always, you don't want to miss a dose. Hit subscribe. And if you like it, say so. Hit like, leave a comment. I always try to respond to the comments. So until next week, this is Bill Kenower. Stay fearless.